Robin Summeretto is here and she comes with a whole summer themed suit. She looks adorable and she's also deadly in combat, to the point where when she starts singing, it's the enemy's worst nightmare. Welcome to my complete Robin Summeretto guide, where we'll be going through all of her skills, best teams, builds, everything in between. Oh yeah, everything is here are from a Create Experience server, and do use the timestamps for convenience. And with that said, let us start. We'll start off with a summary. Robin Summeretto is a Remembrance Path team-wide damage amplifier that is also able to regenerate energy while action advancing one designated ally with her ultimate. She scales her damage amplification based on vibe stacks, and her HP stats as well actually, so you want her with good max HP. Her damage amplification comes from her fever state, which is her zone that allows her allies to ignore defense based on the number of vibes she has. She also has attack buff or crit damage buff and even increased damage taken on enemies. All of that combines to make a very versatile character that a lot of teams don't mind using at all. Her best teams will include teams that can attack constantly, which is one of her main ways to gain her vibe stack in order to magnify her buffing effects. More on her best teams later though. Now to jump into her kit. You'll always start by using Robin with her skill, which summons her Memo Sprite bird. You also gain 6 vibes from this, which you can see how much vibes she has under her icon. You will want to summon 3 total birds with Robin, and here's how you do it. If you look at her talent, when Robin's vibe is 6 or more, she immediately summons her second bird. And if her vibes is 12 or more, she immediately summons the third bird. The birds has HP and speed based on Robin's stats, and they're actually much faster than Robin herself. The birds will attack during their turn, which won't deal too much damage at E0 though. To continue on her talent though, Robin Summeretto will actually enter her fever state once all 3 birds are summoned. So meaning once you hit 12 or more vibes. During this fever state, Robin and her birds are immune to CC. Robin herself will no longer take turns until her fever state ends, and the fever state itself deploys a zone that allows allies to ignore 15% plus a bonus based on vibe stacks available on Robin. So yep, the higher your vibes, the higher the defense you ignore. This is Robin's bread and butter to help damage amping your team up, which means your priority is to gain vibe stacks with Robin in every battle. Once you get enough, you get into this fever state after all. To do that, her talent states that you can gain 1 vibes up to 50 for every turn that an ally attacks or provide healing or shield. This is exactly why you want high frequency of attacks on your team if you run Robin Summeretto. But then again, even without it, she is still functional, just less potent with less buff effects, right? Since she would have less vibes. Now to look at her Memo Sprites talent though. During this fever state, Robin and her birds obtains increased damage based on vibe stacks. On top of that, a countdown will appear in the action bar, similar to how the normal Robin is. This countdown will deduct half of your vibe stacks when it takes its turn. But you won't end your fever state unless your vibes reaches 0. This effectively means your Robin will never leave this state if your team gains vibe stacks consistently enough. Furthermore, when the birds is on the field, they'll also apply increased damage taken to all enemies, up to 16% if you have all 3 birds on field. There are also bonus support for the Memo Sprite, like when the birds are summoned, Robin gets 20 energy. And if the birds disappear, Robin gains action advance by 50%, though you'll mostly won't see them happening more than once, if ever, if you play her fine. Now to move on to her ultimate. Upon using it, Robin action advances one target ally by 100% and regenerate 20% of their max energy, while granting them the special guest effect. When the special guest and their summon attacks, Robin gains an additional 2 points of vibe. This is massive to regenerate higher vibes, which maximizes defense ignore and a lot of her other buffs as well, and it also allows constant vibe gain so Robin never leaves her fever state, which is the state she needs to maintain all of her buffs. This is why again, characters with high numbers of attack or summons will be sought after by Robin Summeretto to just get more vibes. Now then for her bonus abilities. Improvised Blues allows Robin to gain 12 stacks of groove for the first time she gains healing or shield, and she's able to regenerate 3 energy for every stack of groove consumed. She consumes groove if she gains vibes during any target's turn. Her next bonus ability is a simple 50% crit rate increase for Robin and her own Memo Sprite. Then her final bonus ability allows her to buff attack or crit damage based on her vibe stacks for an ally that help gain Robin vibes. She provides a tap buff for allies that has higher attack than herself, and crit damage instead but for allies that don't. Her buff value will be calculated based on vibes and based on her own max HP, so it's actually quite the solid value. Now her technique also advances her own action at the start of battle, gains herself 6 vibes, and increases all allies damage dealt by 30% for 2 turns, which is actually perfect technique to set up quick one-shots. And with all that said, we understand that Robin Summeretto is a versatile damage amplifier that mainly thrives on her skills defense ignore for your team, her damage take an increase on enemies, and her various buff as well. The more vibes she has, the higher her damage amps are, and the more attacks you do in the team, the more vibes Robin can get. And because of that, the more buffs again she can provide. This makes her best teams include characters like Hyacinth, Evernight, and even Aglaia for their member sprite attacks. Morning X Blade and Asheville as a constant attack combo is going to be helpful for her as well. Saber and Gilgamesh can work too, especially with the energy regen and action advance from Robin for Saber. And who could forget Himiko Nova with all of the assist skill? It's going to help Robin get more vibes as well. And Robin's energy regen for Himiko is going to smooth her rotation out even more. And honestly, any teams except for break teams will more or less still work with Robin because of how generally usable her damage amplifications are. Obviously, to different degrees of success based on what characters you're using. With that said, let's get into Robin Summeretto's builds now. To start with her Lightcone. Her own signature is obviously perfect, and it helps her team gain skill points while Robin is basically not taking a turn as she's in her feverish state. It even has a 20% team-wide speed increase, which helps massively for characters like Cyrene if you're struggling with her speed. The best alternative can be Everknight's signature, especially for member sprite teams, or more realistically, just use the Herda Store 5-star, Memory's Curtain Never Falls. It is the best free option. As for relic sets, you'll want the 4-piece World Remaking Deliverer set and the 2-piece Amphorius The Eternal Land set. You can explore alternatives like the classic Von Lock set, for example, to set up for some crazy one-shots with her at lower speed, though it's not needed, especially if you have her own signature plus her own techniques action advance. Now as for her main stats, you'll want to look for HP % body, speed boots, HP % orb, and energy regen robe. The substats you'll want is speed, then HP %, then crit rate or crit damage. And now to go through her teams. Robin Summeretto excels in teams that attacks a lot, especially ones with summon, since Robin can use the ult on the owner of the memo sprite or summon and gain extra vibes from when the owner and the target summon attacks. And she still gains more vibes in general with more attacks in a team, so it's never a bad thing. A good memo sprite setup with Robin Summeretto would include main DPS Evernight, Cyrene, Robin, and Hyacinth. This team will perform adequately, but the problem will be when Eidolons are involved. Obviously, you wouldn't want to force an E0 Evernight to be the main DPS and kick out your E2 castress. And if you do add castress in, you can replace Cyrene, but you wouldn't want to kick out your E2 Cyrene just to fit and force an E0 Robin in the squad, right? I mean, you can do that, it just doesn't make a lot of sense unless you have some other teams that the character that you're trying to swap around is needed elsewhere. But if you're wondering about their performance all at E0 though, obviously they work fine. Robin will be able to provide all the valuable buffs that any memo sprite damage dealer wouldn't mind having. You can see her as a good option for sure, especially if you just lack a key piece in your remembrance team. I would always recommend trying to pull for Robin because you can just make a team because you have Robin, because most of the time she'll work out. Let's say you just didn't manage to get Cyrene ever, or you just never managed to get that one character in a different team, chances are Robin could help you out to some extent. But then again, you should not prioritize E0 Robin over say your perfectly invested E2 Remembrance squad. How strong Robin is with her Eidolons though will need testing, which I'll feature in the channel soon, but chances are it is not worth ditching your already strong and invested Remembrance team just to break in Robin for some performance increase, if at all. You can't just use her in another team. Which if you do invest in Robin, I can guarantee you that some of the teams that you have that may not be your main team, they would love for Robin helping them out. The next team, which is one of the best for Robin, would be a team that involves Himiko Nova, Danheng PT, and maybe someone like Remembrance Trailblazer. Himiko Nova actually has quite constant assist skill attacks, which means you can get vibes quite consistently. Robin's energy regen for Himiko with her ult is again very helpful. It would smooth out Himiko's energy situation really well. Then again, Robin will not be able to use the assist skill since she will mostly be in her fever state, not be able to take a turn. So it's not exactly a perfect team. Think of Robin as one of another strong general support that you can put in a Himiko Nova team, one that can help Himiko with energy regen with her ultimate. To move on to yet another team, here's a strong option for Robin as well, which is to use Robin Summeretto with Saber and Gilgamesh. Plus, you know, a healer like Huo. This team is strong where Saber actually attacks more than enough to keep Robin's vibe relatively high. All the general damage amp helps Saber and Gilgamesh, which both dishes out high damage, making your team perform really well. Especially with the energy regen and action advance from Robin's ult, this option easily beats out having E1 Tribby for me, since Saber is able to get a fat chunk of energy out of nowhere with a good action advance, while Gilgamesh is also able to gain benefits to his damage output. It's like a combination of having what Sunday provides for Saber, but also having what Tribby could provide for Gilgamesh and Saber. Honestly, quite the perfect setup. It's one of the best in my opinion. Is it the strongest team in the game though? That would not quite be the case, but still really strong. The next alternative team for Robin is going to be an umbrella term. We're gonna call it general, right? In a general team, Robin can be used with legitimately anyone, but preferably characters with high attack numbers and definitely not characters that are used in a break team. A popular thought would be using Robin, Modern X Blade, and main DPS Ashvale with a sustain, or you know, you can maybe think of Blade as the main DPS, then sub DPS Ashvale. These two are pretty interchangeable, I would say. And yeah, this team though, they attack a lot, has good damage. Blade and Ashvale buff each other while Robin buffs both of them. And both of them gains vibes for Robin in return for the amount of attacks they do, and you just cycle this continuously for a pretty good synergy. This is only an example though, you can use Robin with a lot of other characters. Think of Finan, think of even say Fei Xiao if you need to. Sela works as well. And heck, even Dot team could work to a certain extent. And for some Malaysian teams, they definitely wouldn't mind defense reduction either. And even if you use Robin Summeretto with characters that say don't attack that much, you will simply lose out on defense ignore and some buff value, but she's still going to be functional. So keep in mind that she works in any non-break related teams as long as you don't replace her with the team's core engine. For example, if you force Robin to take the spot of say Sparkle for Archer, well that actually still works if you have Rin, but it won't be nearly as comfortable, right? So that will all make one of the most versatile characters in the game, and I do think you won't be regretting it too much having a Robin Summeretto in your account, just as a really good option now, and maybe potentially already a good option in the future with Phase 2's Aventurine Wave Flare. He might also wouldn't mind Robin Summeretto being used with him as well, seeing that he actually can get speed buff and looks like he would attack a bunch. And you have to really think objectively about Robin's buffs and damage amplification. There's probably no chance in the future that characters won't want defense ignore, won't want damage dealt increase on enemies. Like they will definitely still benefit to some extent, which is why I think Robin is definitely a safe investment. But well, is she a must pull? There's never a must pull character in the game, just that this one's a pretty valuable one. And now to check out her Eidolons and pull priority. I would say Robin's E1 and her Lightcone is about the same in value, just in different ways. The E1 makes Robin do a bunch more damage, while the Lightcone allows Robin to make your whole team's speed tuning way easier, along with half a Von Walk effect to it. But to check out Robin's E1 though, this is the exact one that suddenly makes Robin's damage output insane. She records damage dealt by all allies basically, and when her birds take their turn and attack, they deal true damage partially based on the tally and vibes count, then clears only 50% of the tally. This makes Robin suddenly a damage dealer, one that records damage like Cypher, meaning she would work with genuinely anyone, as long as they do damage. E2 is quite the massive upgrade for buffs, and you can even get increased vibes limit. This is the one you should aim for if you want your Robin to be significantly improved as a support character. It's worth going for if you want to push your numbers high, but not required for a function. Her E4 gets you more vibes upon entering fever state, and you also get more speed for the birds, a mix of supportive and offensive, but I don't recommend stopping here, because at this point, you would just go for E6, which makes Robin an ult machine, significantly smoothing out energy needs and rotation, plus increasing 100% of her Memo Strike's skill damage multiplier of its original value. Quite the rare buff that doesn't get diluted easily. It's strong and it makes your team perform better, especially with her constant ults. I don't recommend going that far though for any character, but if you're a whale, this is worth it if you run any energy based team and you want to test their ceiling. And that will be all for my Robin guide. Hope I helped you out and good luck with pulling her on your account. I'll be posting a lot more showcases on her, maybe some fun content as well. And yeah, that'll be all. Take care.